On news.com, Australia, it says right there, "We are star people. Scientific proof we were created by aliens." Alright, that's pretty huge, right? So let's pull this down a little bit. And you can see right there, the picture they have on there is from Prometheus, the movie Prometheus. And I was really drawn to this because just a few weeks ago I did my own video on the fallen angels, and in that video I had some clips from Prometheus. Because if you haven't seen it yet, this isn't really a spoiler alert, I guess, because it's a pretty interesting movie, but it's full of all kinds of symbolism, occult type stuff, but primarily it's about two stories. It's about the story of the fallen angels from the Bible mixing their DNA with ours, and it also has to do with the ancient astronauts. So they kind of mix the two together. And the ancient astronauts, that goes back to Ancient Aliens, a really popular show out there. I've seen a few episodes on YouTube myself. More than a few, actually. I've seen quite a bit. It's really interesting stuff, but even when watching it, one thing I noticed is they never drew a connection to the Bible or the fallen angels. On the episodes I saw, at least. There might be some out there, but I never saw it. And it's the whole idea that they're pushing, again, that these are going to be alien visitors, okay? I mean, this is coming. We all know there's a lot of wild stuff happening in the world right now. You can check out my channel. Try to show you some of the stuff happening. There's a lot of other great channels out there doing the same thing. You just have to open your eyes up to it. You have to be able to receive this stuff, have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and just really start questioning things in the mainstream. Once you turn away from that, start finding alternative sources, you'll start seeing a bigger picture to kind of what's happening. So anyway, yes, so this is some pretty wild stuff. Okay, Prometheus, mix the two stories. We have Ancient Aliens, which I think is very deceptive in a very small way, but that's always the most powerful lie, isn't it? When you give like 95% truth, but you hold back that little 5%. That's usually the way they do, and that's the best kind of a lie, and I think that's kind of what Ancient Aliens is doing. Again, they're preparing us for these things being aliens and not fallen angels, okay? So I'll just read a little bit down here. It's got a lot of science mumbo-jumbo, a lot of big words, so I'm just going to read a little bit here. But it says, "Don't be alarmed, but you have alien DNA in your genetic code. Science says so. Scientists from Kazakhstan believe that human DNA was encoded with an extraterrestrial signal by an ancient alien civilization." And it also has Discovery.com there, excuse me, as another source. And it says they call it biological SETI, and their researchers claim that the mathematical code in human DNA cannot be explained by evolution. So, ruh-roh, that's probably going to ruffle some feathers out there. But anyway, you can check out the rest of that article if you like. For me, it really wasn't so much about the article as it is about the headline. "We are star people. Scientific proof we were created by aliens." They're going to start pushing this more and more. This is the first story I've seen on it, but I'm sure this is going to become a very common thing. We're going to start seeing this idea more and more as this great deception approaches. And I don't know exactly how the deception is going to play out. I don't know if they're going to be presented as good guys or bad guys, but we'll get to some of that in a second. So I'm going to jump over here and just read a little bit, just so you can kind of see. This is straight up from Ancient Aliens theory from the show. And it says that it ponders the possibility that our ancestors mistakenly took advanced extraterrestrial beings, quote, ancient aliens, to be supernatural gods who descended from the heavens. Here we look at the biblical account of Noah's Ark and explore the possibility that perhaps ancient aliens were the direct influence of the creation of the infamous seafaring vessel, Noah's Ark. So right there you have it. I mean, you can go on and on that. And again, if you're familiar with the show, you already know this is kind of what they push out there. But that's the idea they're putting, is that, when these things come down, they're going to deceive a lot of people. There's some of us out here that know what's coming. We know this is all demonic, all right? It's a big part of a great deception. But, again, many people are going to fall, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. They don't have to, but I'm sure many will. So I'm going to go and jump back here for a second and show you one more cool little connection I found. So right here it says, the very first paragraph, "Scientists from Kazakhstan." Okay, so Kazakhstan, that stood out to me. I'd read about Kazakhstan in the past, put a little video of it in the movie I actually made called "The Scariest Movie Ever Made" is in there, about the Illuminati and all that stuff. So here's your Illuminati connection, okay, to this whole story. I guess it wouldn't be one of my videos if there wasn't some kind of Illuminati stuff in there, at least every now and then. So, Sinister Sites, Astana, Kazakhstan. It's on the Vigilant Citizen. You should check this site out if you're interested in Illuminati research and occult research. But just a little bit of stuff right here. This is where the scientists were, and this is the Pyramid of Peace. You can see, and some other random pyramids. But inside they have all the sun symbol stuff and the sun worship. They got like a tree of life thing going on down here. There's a whole story, and I won't get into the whole thing, but I just thought that was another kind of interesting connection right there. So let's go ahead and jump over here now for a little bit. Another thing that's been going on for a long time is that we've all been conditioned. We're being programmed to accept this stuff when it comes, and it really started way back in the 50s with television. I mean, I'm sure it started before then in its own way, but TV really launched the initiative. You know, really pushed forth the propaganda. I mean, look at the golden age of television in the 50s, and look at the kind of stuff that was coming out. I'm sure your dads, grandpas, uncles, aunts, whoever, you know, the older folk in your life, are probably down with a lot of these old school 50s cheesy sci-fi movies with UFOs and funny looking aliens and all that, and you might be too. I like some of it as well. But that all really started in the 50s, and there was tons of it. Lots of propaganda, or at least I see it as propaganda, or conditioning, or predictive programming, or social engineering. But lots of programming back then about these aliens and UFOs. Okay, it started then, and it's only grown since. And like I said, I don't know exactly how it's all going to play out. You know, because on one side we're shown E.T., which was a good little alien, and we're shown Paul, which was a cool little stoner alien, I guess. And on the other side you've got, you know, like Battle Los Angeles and stuff like this, where they're bad guys and trying to kill us. So I guess there's a few scenarios that could play out. You know, one could be maybe they'll be our saviors. As our world gets closer to World War III, and we're right on the brink, guys, you've got to see that. Maybe they'll launch. Maybe we'll all start to kill each other, and next thing you know, these things are going to come down and stop the missiles, and they're going to be your saviors. That's a possibility. You know, the other possibility is a fake alien invasion. What if they come down? What if it's even Project Bluebeam? You know, that they could be doing that as well. Our government, look that up if you're not familiar with what that is. But you know, or it could be the real aliens, the fallen angels, the Nephilim. And when I talk about those guys, generally, I've got a lot of videos on this stuff as well on my backup channel, Scariest Movie Ever 111, where I show a lot of these things, and I believe it's all part of the deception, okay? And it's usually these energy orb type UFOs we're seeing way more and more. So much so even in 2012, there were more reported UFOs in 2012 than any time in history. So that's crazy stuff. So let's show you some of this propaganda here.
Who would Americans want in the White House if we faced an alien invasion? According to a new National Geographic Channel poll, 65% of Americans would pick President Obama to deal with that planet being threatened in such a situation, and they would pick him over Mitt Romney. That same poll found 80 million Americans are certain UFOs exist, and 79% think the government has kept information about UFOs.
Last night at the Grammys was, and what we've been doing with the egg and the rebirth, it's meant to signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race, and it's a race with no prejudice, a race within the race of humanity that bears no prejudice against anyone. So that's really the statement in itself.
So there's that, guys, and you know, in the Bible it also says that you know, in the end times, before Jesus comes back, it'll be as in the days of Noah. That goes back to the fallen angels mating with the women here on earth, mixing their DNA, and then God bringing the flood to cleanse the world, okay? So the question is, are we in those times again? You know, is that what's happening here? And one more thing.
My people have developed technologies which allow us to throw off our physical forms and travel great distances in the blink of an eye. We are in dialogue with your leaders to help the human race survive its infancy, for we believe in you. We are helping your scientists find cures for diseases which afflict your bodies, and helping you to preserve your planet's most precious resources. Many among us wage peace, and one day, with our help, war may be a thing of the past. Our army is 1 billion strong and growing.
We will bring you a cure for many known diseases. We will provide technology that will change the way you live. We will bring peace to every nation on your planet. We are the visitors. We are of peace, always.
Could you be an angel? Your touch, magnetizing.
senior Vatican scientist, said that he would be delighted if we encountered intelligent aliens and would be happy to baptize them. His pronouncement opens up the possibility of space missionaries heading out to the stars to convert aliens to Christianity.
Did the Vatican find alien life?
You know what? As sensationalistic as that question sounds, it's really not that far off from what we've seen in the news.